We reviewed a ton of products this year, but we try a lot of things in a year, so it's unlikely we'll ever get to cover everything we loved.
So we wanted to take a second to shout out some of our favorite things from 2023 that didn't necessarily get a full review this year, things like gadgets, tools, books, and even some creators that we admire.
So these are the Cult Flave honorable mentions for 2023, and it's as close as you're gonna get to a gift guide from us.
Suck it.
Suck it.
Starting strong with cookware, these are all the tools that we used the most while cooking in 2023.
We kind of retrofitted these into categories after the fact, so take these with a grain of salt. My pick for a small tool was Materials the Forever Peeler. Honestly, it's just a peeler, but you can replace the blade and it just feels nice and looks pretty.
It's a good peeler.
It is a peeler, it's just a pretty one.
My small tool for 2023 is our microplane grater. It is not uncommon for this to be a favorite tool for a lot of people.
Classic gift guide fodder.
Yep, we have at least 2 of these floating around our kitchen at any.
6.
We have 6?
Yep.
The reason I like these is because they're lightweight and they don't get in the way as easily as like the microplanes that have the handles.
Next up, we have our gadgets section, which is gonna be the smallest electronic products. And mine is the combustion predictive thermometer, which is a leave-in thermometer with wireless probes and a display. I also just recently got their little pan holder so it can like clip on the rim.
Cute.
It's great. I love this thing. It is the best designed leave-in thermometer I think I've ever experienced. It's actually so good that I wish it had a higher like temperature ceiling so I could use it for more things. It's fantastic at what it's good at. I want more of it, honestly.
My favorite gadget for 2023 is the OXO 11-pound digital scale. This has been my ride or die throughout the entire year. And the thing I like the most about it is this removable display that helps me when I'm working with like, I don't know, roasting pans, large bowls. It's so convenient. I love it so much. Rolling right into countertop appliances, my pick for 2023 is the Waring WSG30 Spice Grinder. I like this thing because it's got the removable cups that are also dishwasher safe. I always hated grinding whole spices with mortar and pestle, so having this on hand with easy cleanup really made me enjoy my time in the kitchen more.
Mine is the Vitamix immersion blender. We actually tested this last year, but it has since grown to be like an everyday, usually multiple times a day use case for us, and it kicks so much ass compared to everything else we've tested. It's so powerful relative to like every other immersion blender, and unlike most Vitamix products, it's actually well priced for its category.
I reviewed a lot of stainless steel pans this year, but one that I didn't get to was the DeMeyer Industry 5 3-quart saute pan. I love a saute pan because they're versatile. You can braise stuff, you can fry stuff, you can saute stuff. The thing I like the most about this specific model is the really wide heat spreader on the handle, the thick aluminum to spread heat more evenly throughout the pan, and it's really lightweight.
It's a very comfy pan.
Yeah, it's a good pan.
I was expecting to talk about the Heston here, but I think I've talked about it enough for this year. So instead I'm going with the humble Winco 8th sheet pan, which is both the best spoon rest on the market and an extremely convenient method of conveyance for like ingredients from the cutting board to the pot. I use it at every meal. My favorite detail is this open bead on the back. It's not any less rigid than it would be with a closed bead, but the water doesn't get trapped in there.
These are all the products that didn't fit neatly into cookware, and since English is hard, we're going to call these accessories for 2023.
The best accessories of 2023.
Man, I'm so excited I get to talk about my cheese gloves. These are my favorite wearables for 2023.
Is this the first time we've actually done a video talking about cheese gloves?
Yeah, these are the Kitchen Star Ultimate rubber gloves. They're just run-of-the-mill kitchen gloves, but I love them. I originally bought these because I wanted to make homemade mozzarella and I didn't want to burn my hands when I had to stretch the mozzarella in the hot water. And now I try to use them any chance I get. I use them to shred meat. I use them to pull whole chickens out of water. I've used them to pull pasta out of water before. It's
Bold
wild.
strategy there. Just a fistful of wet pasta.
It's wild. I think everyone should have a pair of kitchen gloves.
Mine actually made a difference in terms of my quality of life by reducing back pain. And they're these weird ass Crocs.
Yes.
This is a Pleasures and Crocs collab, but they're just plain black Crocs with a print on them, but it glows in the dark. I'm tall, I lean over a counter a lot, I lean over a keyboard a lot, I have back problems. This is a meaningful life improvement, and it's drippy. All right, serving accessories. This is the Putnam Studio Large Bowl 01. it's a one-on-one. But in general, I want to talk about Putnam Studio because they make amazing ceramics that are so cool. He's a graphic designer by trade historically, and also an artist and a printmaker. And he combined all those things together with his new love of ceramics to make some of the coolest servingware on the planet, in my opinion. Putnam.studio. I wish we made more large batches of food so I could use this bowl more often.
My favorite thing for serving is old spoons.
Some old spoons.
Some old spoons. We went out of our way to get the fancy Gestura spoons, and they also had a bin of just like discount
thrift store spoons
to pull from. So we got a few of those as well. And honestly, we use the thrift store spoons way more than we use the Gestura spoons. So shout out to thrift store spoons. If you do end up trying to get thrift spoons, definitely check them for lead first.
Lastly, we have storage, and mine is this Asaya knife roll. It's made of canvas. It has a lovely shoulder strap. And I actually bought this as the cheap option in a knife storage review I was working on, and it just kind of blew me away. It's very simple, and that's pretty much what I love about it. It's just a nice knife roll. It keeps it simple, but it's also extremely flexible, so it's easy to roll. It has that strap, which makes it really easy to carry. It just doesn't overcomplicate things. And I appreciate that. It's also like $30 for this one and $20 for the red one, which I should have gotten the red one.
My pick for storage is the Carile Store Plus. These are a game changer in terms of marinating meats or really marinating anything. I love them because they've got this awesome lid. It's really easy to store this in your fridge, and you can put stuff on top of your marinating food without worrying about it contaminating anything. The only thing that you do have to worry about with these is that the covers do not sit super secure. So if you are pulling it out of the fridge, be careful with the cover because it might slide off and you might get your hand in some
raw chicken. These are the 2.5-inch models, and we can stack them like 4 high in our fridge, and that is fantastic. Especially for like pre-prepping a lot of protein at once, it's great.
Yeah, love these things.
Now for the actual food. These are our favorite ingredients of 2023. It's weird the way these categories came together because we kind of just picked stuff and then came up with categories later.
Yep.
We're starting with staples.
My pick for staples is rice bran oil. This is the best neutral oil to have in the pantry, in my opinion. It's not fishy smelling. It can heat up to like 450 degrees.
Doesn't taste like avocado oil.
Doesn't taste like avocado oil. And it's pretty inexpensive.
Very inexpensive, like half the price of other neutral oils. Safflower oil, sunflower oil,
yeah.
Both cost about twice as much.
I love this oil.
This is 99% lactic acid powder from Talcum Chemicals. We got this when I was developing the kimchi raikkonen recipe in order to accelerate the amount of lactic acid in our kimchi. And honestly, it's been a very useful tool ever since. I've been adding it to give like a richer version of acid than something like citric or acetic. And it also works really well for generating a brine that makes like cucumbers or onions taste fully lactically fermented, but without losing its like nice fresh texture. So I can like really quickly pack a ton of lactic acid into a vegetable in like 5 minutes with a vacuum sealer. It's pretty neat. It's also good as a chemical exfoliant.
Awesome. Awesome.
Condiment time.
We definitely should have just called this section chili oil because we both chose chili oils for our condiments. I went with Momofuku Chili Crunch. We tried this on a whim just to see how it would taste, and it is very toasty, roasty flavors, but it's also very garlic leaning. So it's excellent unless you plan to suck face directly after eating it.
And I do. This is Boon Sauce, which has been my favorite chili oil all year. It's a very simple oil, very like ma-la profile. It's got Sichuan peppercorns and chilies. The main thing that is like unique about it is the anchovy in it, which just adds umami, but it is notably non-vegan because of that. I think it kicks ass. It's a good like general purpose chili oil. It's good kind of on everything. Since it's not very specific, it just goes with everything. It just adds heat, kind of like cayenne pepper or something. Big fan.
It's spicy.
This is the extra hot version too. This one we're calling finishing because we kind of put it on right as we're about to serve a dish.
Right, and words are hard.
Sherry vinegar has been one of my favorite vinegars for a while. It has a nicer balancing effect than a lot of other vinegars do in my experience, especially for like rich meaty flavors. It just goes really well with them. This is Videsan's Solera 77, and it's got a higher acid content. It's like 8 degrees acidity, which is usually it's like 5 to 7. I think this is a great middle point that balances acidity and complexity.
My pick for finishing a dish is Kukanjang. This is from Simpio. It's soup soy sauce So not an everyday soy sauce, definitely for finishing soups, Korean soy sauce.
It does taste like, it has a distinct Korean food flavor.
Yes, but we've eaten a lot of kimchi jjigae this year, and I think that this can take a bowl of soup and just bump it up to 11 in one splash. Last but certainly not least, we've got our favorite food content of 2023. And yes, that does include cookbooks.
My favorite book to read this year has been All Under Heaven by Carile Phillips, which is all about the regional culinary history of China. This book dives into 35 specific cuisines within Chinese food. I just think it's such a loving piece of writing, and it's really well made. It's very inspiring. It wouldn't work at all in our review format, but it's
way too big.
I'm glad that this kind of thing exists.
On that note, another type of cookbook that won't necessarily work in our reviews, but I still adore, is A Good Bake by Melissa Weller. This is my favorite baking cookbook out there. I got it originally because I wanted to make s'mores and graham crackers for a bonfire birthday party, and I liked it so much that now I turn to it anytime I need a reference for like why lamination works or how to distribute butter evenly in pie crust. Next, we've got our favorite channels of 2023. My pick for 2023 is going to be Radicchio Salad.
Yes.
I know. I do love some snarky content, and I love that he's kind of making fun of food trends on TikTok especially, but he's kind of also going in this direction where he's talking a little bit more about making food.
His new cooking videos are so good.
Yeah. They're playful, they're colorful, he's got great use of sounds. It's really, really fun, and I hope he continues to do content like that in the future.
For much the same reason as All Under Heaven was my pick for cookbook, I'm choosing Eat with Afia as my favorite channel of 2023 because she's a Canadian PhD student who talks about West African regional cuisine, and it is so cool. I love the way that she like treats everything and talks about the science and the technique, but also like the cultural factors and the things that like made foods the way they are.
Last category, blogs of 2023. My favorite blog of 2023 has been Very Good Drinks' Very Good blog. Jazz and Demi are so fun to watch on their YouTube channel, and I think that their creations are really playful and enjoyable, and you can tell that they just have a really good time making fun drinks. We reference them a lot, and it's for a good reason. It's because they make very good content.
My pick is Knife Steal Nerds, which was a lifesaver for me during the huge knife review, which took months to make and would have easily taken like double or triple the time, if not for Laren Thomas's work, which is exhaustive and comprehensive. I'm not a knife person, I'm a cooking person. I just need to know enough to be like thoughtful about critique, right?
Laren's got you covered.
Laren's got me covered.
As always, we put all the links for everything that we talked about today over at cultflave.com.
We made a guide for it.
Links in the bio.
I'm 12.
I'm also 12.